Hi, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have an unboxing of one that I've actually been anticipating for quite a while personally, ever since it got first announced, because I wasn't even expecting this to be announced. But it is the Spike Spiegel figure from Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop is an older anime, actually one of my more favorite ones. This one, Rurouni Kenshin, Tenchi Muyo, Dragon Ball, of course, and like Full Metal Alchemist, stuff like that. It's some of like the old like Toonami lineups and like the Cartoon Network stuff, that like late night Toonami lineups. So that's when I first got into this, and I love it. I loved watching this. This thing was an amazing anime to me, at least. Like a space cowboy. That's pretty cool. So very glad to get this figure. Let's go ahead and unbox this guy and take a closer look. Okay, real quick before we start with this review, I totally spaced out and forgot to thank the good people over at Shop ToyCo Collectibles, Andrew and his team. I got this figure from them. You guys know the last couple of like figures I've gotten and the last couple of videos, I've been shouting them out tremendously just because these guys are probably the best online smaller retail companies. There's the bigger companies like Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, but in terms of like the small small business owner type companies, this is probably the best. So sorry for forgetting to plug that in at the beginning of the video. So this is going to be inserted right there. Thank you, Andrew, for all your support. Thank you for providing this figure for me. And let's move on to the review, shall we? So I just want to show you guys the accessories, how it is in the packaging right now. I am going to interchange the hands and the faces just so you guys can get a closer look. But he does come with 4 extra interchangeable hands. They're like a little bit of an open relaxed hand. 2 trigger finger hands, 2 hands with the pinky kind of like splayed out, and then 2 kind of like not necessarily peace hands, but I think that's like the cigarette holding hand. And then he comes with 3 different heads: one smiling face, a grinning side looking face, and then 1 neutral face with the cigarette in his mouth. So let's go ahead and open this guy and see how tall he is. So straight out of the packaging, he stands right about 6 inches to the top of his hair. And then to the top of his face, it's about 5 1/4, probably, or actually a little bit less than 6 inches, depending on how you look at it. It's not going to be 100% accurate, just because of how it's angled and how I'm sitting behind the camera. But for the most part, he is a 6-inch figure. And if you want to see some height comparisons, let me go ahead and put a Mezco 112 Green Arrow, a Figma Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works Archer. And I know Figma is a little bit smaller than the typical 112 scale. So if you compare them, actually the Archer is just a tad bit taller. And then speaking of other figure lines that are smaller than the typical 112 scale, we have the SH Figuarts Stay and Raise on Earth base form Goku. Now these two are the same company. They're both SH. So the scaling for this should pretty much be identical. So you see the Goku is just a tiny bit taller. But yes, SH, they scale a little bit smaller than the typical 6-inch scale. So that's how he looks. And now we have a look at the DC Multiverse Superman. This is the Kingdom Come Superman from the Lobo Wave. And then here we have what I personally think is a typical scale from Marvel Legends, because they do have some figures that are larger standard characters, like Beast, War Machine, Beta Ray Bill, just to name a few. And then they have some smaller characters, like the females, and then like Wolverine, he's kind of short. So this to me, the Killmonger is kind of like the standard 6-inch Marvel Legends figure. So that's how he scales. And last but not least, I just wanted to show off a Figma Deku, because I know like on the internet there are some comparisons and some fan theories how Spike can actually be Deku's dad, which I think is pretty funny. So I just wanted to show you guys side-by-side comparison, and the hair looks pretty similar. So, but then different companies, different lines. So take it for what you will. So as he comes out of the packaging, he has his neutral face and then his 2 fisted hands. So here I'm just showing you his smiling, smirking face, and then his trigger finger hand while holding the gun, and then his open, more relaxed, I guess you can call it a grabbing hand or an action hand. So you can actually put some stuff in there if it fits, like a soda can, maybe a stack of newspapers, something, just anything that can fit into that hand. And here's if you wanted to see how he looks with the cigarette face, and then his hand, like how he's about to grab the cigarette, and then what looks like a broken pinky, splayed out pinky. Now I don't remember. Please, it's been a while since I watched this. I don't remember what the pinky is about. So if you do know, please let me know in the comments below, and please bash me, please correct me as much as you want. I totally forgot. I'm not gonna lie. So like I said, all the hands, it's two. It's a pair for each. So if right now it's showing the right hand grabbing the cigarette, he has a left hand, and he has a broken pinky on the left hand. He has the same thing for the right hand. So all his fists, all his hand pieces are interchangeable. So that's kind of nice. I like how it's mirrored for each hand, so you can do different poses for like, or you can do the same poses for different angles. So now to go over articulation, I actually just swapped out his grinning side looking face. It looks like, and I got him in somewhat of a running pose, so it looks like he's running. So going over articulation, unfortunately his neck is kind of limited. He can look down very well. He can't look up pretty much at all. But the thing is, he also has side tilt. He has a peg on the neck, or on the base of his head, and then he has a peg at the bottom of the neck. So you can look down like that, but then you can also push it a little bit more so he can look down all the way. So, and then it has a ball joint at the base of the neck. For his elbows, it's really nice. Can definitely go way past 90. There you go. Way past, or not 90 degrees. Yeah, well, kind of 90 degrees. Way past 90. He has full 360. There you go. And then he has a subtle butterfly joint. It's not the greatest, as in like some other figures, but it's not bad at all. So you can see it goes forward and back just a tiny bit. I like how they have like independent pieces here, so it'll just float around and not necessarily get in the way. Single jointed elbows, but goes past 90, and then the swivel and the hinge on the wrist. He has a nice diaphragm joint where you can rotate it all the way around. Can crunch that far. Can lean back actually very well. And then he has a waist swivel also, so you can go full 360. Splits, very, very nice. He has single jointed knees, but then it can bend past 90, and for the character being a long, lanky type figure, it kind of works. So it looks nice like that. So it looks like he's doing his signature running pose. He has ankle articulation that goes 360 fully, and then goes up and down, not so much. And then he has toe pivot, actually goes down quite a bit and then goes up. So I'm gonna run through the pretty much like the aspects of the figure. Let me zoom in all the way. I'm gonna run through the aspects of the figure while I talk about my final thoughts and what are my personal pros and cons. So his hair is a very nice dark green with black wash throughout, so like there's nice shading on there. His face is very animated, looks exactly like what you see in the anime. His collar is nice. It's stiff on the back, like right here. It's like a harder plastic, but on the like the tips of the collar or like the wings, I think it's a softer plastic. But then you do want to be careful just in case. It's not like super pliable. It's just soft, so it can snap or break if you bend it too hard. The rest of his body is like even like the cuffs right here. They're a nice hard mold, so you can be not necessarily rough with them, but you can definitely it won't break under like the easiest circumstances. I like the fact that his collar here and then the inside shirt match very well. I know some figures and some lines have trouble doing that, and it actually mismatches with the collar. And then his piece right here for like the bottom half of his shirt underneath the diaphragm joint is a soft rubber material, so it can go forward and back and it won't get in the way of much. Let me zoom that out real quick. And then his legs, it's a independent hip piece, so it kind of floats. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but it kind of floats and it won't get in the way. Whoops, his hair just came off, but yeah, that's how it looks. So let me plug that back in. Oops. There you go. So yeah, it won't get in the way of his legs. And then you can go out like that pretty far. So it can go up, side like that, forward, and back. Well, you can angle it pretty well. So you can do like a forced perspective type thing. So the good thing I like about this, like one of the pros that I personally enjoy, is that he looks very, very close to his animated, well, persona, figure, I guess, character. Tamashii Nations hit it out of the park with this one in terms of like likeness and stuff and overall build. So like here's the back, just for anyone curious. It's nice and clean. The smudges and like the little things that you see here and there are probably because of me and my review station. So just keep that in mind. One of the minor gripes I have is when he came out of the packaging, he had like a thin, like really thin, like wet layer on him. I don't know what that's from. It's probably from like the manufacturer or whatever. And it smelled like a little bit like gasoline, like very tiny bit. But it's not going to hinder or take away from the figure. That's just something to point out when you first take it out of the packaging. And then another gripe that I do have is his lack of articulation for the back of the neck. So it can go up like that, but you're going to have to like lean his back in order to get it. But you know, you can look down very well. So that's just another minor gripe with it. Overall, like the figure poses like pretty well. Like it balances nice. Let's see if I can just get like a real quick running pose. Well, it's not gonna stand now, which is kind of weird because when I was playing with him earlier, like he stood pretty well on his own. Like, oops, I had it in that running motion, and then like he stayed actually pretty well. And then now for some reason on camera, like it would be on camera, that it doesn't want to cooperate. But yeah, that's just how it's gonna be. Alright, so that's gonna be it for my review. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys found it somewhat informative. If I were to grade this out of 1 out of 10, just with my personal scale level, I'd probably rate him an 8.5. I thoroughly enjoyed this figure. It honestly makes me want to start collecting a lot more like anime-based figures because I'm a huge anime fan. So this is definitely a nice start to it. You know, plus I have Dragon Ball stuff. And then maybe once like the My Hero Bakugo comes out, Saitama from One Punch Man. So stuff like that. Like I want to start collecting a lot more anime figures. So this is definitely a nice start. One of the things I wish he did have is probably like maybe 1 or 2 extra accessories, maybe like a carton of cigarettes and maybe like a dog, because if you guys don't know from the anime, Spike hates dogs. So I think it'd be pretty funny to have one. Plus I think there's a dog on his ship that like it's like a staple character and he stays there. So there's that, and then it would be nice for him to have included a stand. Tamashii likes to include stands with a good amount of their figures, and then sometimes they don't. So they're very hit or miss with the stands. But other than that, I've thoroughly enjoyed this figure, and I like it. I recommend it. If you guys are into the show, are into anime figures, and just love collecting the SH line in general, this is definitely something that you guys should be thinking about. So yeah, that's going to take care of that. That's going to be it for my review. If you guys liked it, please let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking the video. Please consider subscribing if you are new and have not subscribed yet. And thank you very much for watching. Thank you guys for all your support. And until next time, I will see you in the next video. Peace.